All right, everybody. This is, in my opinion, the best way to market in 2025. And I think that when it comes to stacking leads, there are multiple variables that you should consider before even getting into this part of the business. Now, I think that I speak for almost all of us here. If you're watching this and you've been in the business for a solid 3 to 5 years or whatever, you know what it was like back in the day. I remember back in the day, what most of us did when we had call centers or giant amounts of VAs, and I mean, the things were a little bit more affordable back then, is we got a giant list of leads, right? We got this giant list of leads, and what we would do is we would just blast through all of them, and cold call all of them. Now, guys, there's a lot of regulations out there when it comes to the amount of cold calls you can make. There's also regulations that are out there that comes to the quality of the phone numbers that you buy and skip tracing. There's also regulations on text message marketing, email marketing, and also RVMs. And that's just the reality of where we're at currently in the economy of whatever it is to be a wholesaling real estate investor in 2025, right? And so, what I teach in the cheat code platform, and if this is your first time watching this and you're watching the recording, maybe you might be on the 7 day free trial. There is a 7 day free trial. You guys can hit the link in the description and you can give it a shot, where I teach a specific type of strategy where we narrow down on specific types of leads. All right, I call them buckets. These buckets are advantageous to your business. If you can figure out how to find these types of leads, let me tell you something. You're going to have $50 to $100,000 spreads minimum per real estate deal. If you could just get into the notion of figuring out where to find this data, okay? And so I want to go over this for all of you guys, especially for you guys that are new, y'all that are inside of the community. When I first started getting into this part of the business, I have to give a huge shout out to my friend Tyler Austin. He developed a program called REI Sift, and REI Sift was probably the first lead stacking software that was out there. Up until then, people kind of tried to do lead stacking in spreadsheets without the proper tagging, proper nurturing, proper follow-up implementation. REI Sift dominated the market. My friend Tyler would create a whole marketing process called Go No Go, First to Market, different types of variations. Guys, these are actually free courses that are available with your subscription with REI Sift. So if you're watching this, you want to give REI Sift a shot. I'm going to be teaching something similar to what Tyler has taught in the past. Okay, so I have to give my good friend Tyler Austin his flowers because I love that guy and he's supported me throughout all of my events. And he's just a really great dude. And he has his own real estate firm. He has his own real estate company, his own software company. I look up to him in a lot of ways. And we play Magic the Gathering together. There's the nerd in me. Now, this strategy, right, it revolves around narrowing down your prospects. First and foremost, what we're going to do is I'm going to pull out my handy dandy thing and we're going to kind of show you guys some of the things that I see when it comes to data. So there are three types of buckets for data. And this is what you're going to have to pull, like, for yourself, for your business, before we begin talking about the three best variants of stacks. Okay. These are the types of data that are essentially, the first one is your big bucket. That's going to be the biggest purchase that you'll ever make in your life. You may be able to mitigate the purchase with subscriptions, but it might take you a couple of months for you to get all of that data. It's still going to cost you about $400 to $500 on a low end, especially if you have a software system where you're able to pull 100,000 records every single month. We're not going to skip trace all of them. Okay. We're just going to get the records. That's what we want. And so bucket number one, we're going to go into this real fast. I'm going to do three different buckets here. Okay. Bucket number one consists of three different types of data. I call this blanket. Blanket data. Number one, write this down, okay? And I'm going to draw this out for you guys. We're going to go over this together. Blanket data. What does blanket data consist of for your real estate business and how is it advantageous? Number one, for blanket data, it consists of these three, well, I'd say four variants of data. Number one being high equity. Take notes while you're watching this, please. Number one is high equity. Number two is low equity. Number three is free and clear. And number four is called unknown equity. Okay. Does everybody see this pretty fine? So bucket number one, what do we got? We got high equity, we got low equity, we got free and clear, and we got unknown equity. Now, what's the difference between all of these different variables of data? What's the difference? Number one, for your high equity leads, your high equity data is essentially data where somebody is almost damn near paid off their mortgage. Okay, that's what high equity stands for. Your low equity data means that they either just purchased the property or they recently refinanced the house. And they don't have a lot of debt associated with the house. They probably still owe 90% on that property, meaning if they got a loan for $100,000, they barely owe $90,000 on it. These are still leads that you can go after. I like these because these are like subject to deals, creative finance deals. There's a lot of ways that you can skin that cat. The third one is free and clear. And I love free and clear too, because a lot of times the cash offer will work here. Every now and then, you're also able to kind of negotiate seller finance terms, get the property under contract, seller finance terms. Essentially, you're turning your seller into a bank here, right? And then you have unknown equity. Unknown equity means we don't really know if they owe money on that property or not. That's kind of like the variable when it comes to your data. So this is bucket number one. This bucket right here is going to consist of, in your market, I'm going to just be real, okay? We're going to say 500 records minimum, y'all. 500 records minimum for your business, okay? 500 records. That's a lot. Typically, guys, y'all can assume that that amount of data is going to cost you about 3 to 7 cents a record just for the data, not even for skip tracing. So if y'all want to do the math on that, in certain places, it might be higher. Since I live in San Antonio, Texas, I can tell y'all just from personal experience, the population here is about 2.3 million. There makes up about maybe 900,000 single family homes that exist here in San Antonio, Texas. And then different variables of housing. We have apartment complexes, we have land, we have mobile home parks, we have mobile homes, right? And so again, like when we start looking at all these different variable points, this does not necessarily mean that they're really interested in selling, right? Can we all agree that this isn't a motivated seller? Drop in one of the comments if you guys have ever marketed here and you just felt like you were running in a circle. I think I speak for all of you. If I could just drop a one if you've marketed to this list before to no avail and you got nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing, not even a single motivated seller. And if you did, he wanted retail and he wasn't motivated to sell, he just wanted retail. How many of you guys are watching this and really paying attention, right? We've all marketed to deals like this. I've been there. I'm sure y'all have been there. This is what the gurus were teaching. And what they would say is they stack one thing against it. They say, do high equity, right? And so when I look at that, I'm thinking like, okay, high equity absentee, that doesn't tell me much. There's no motivation. There's no indicator to sell. There's no indicator to sell. All right. Which leads me into bucket number two. Bucket number two. We're gonna go over bucket number two right now. Okay, so again, bucket number two are blanket variables. Can you guys write that down? Blanket variables. What exactly does that mean? It means that you could probably just market to blanket number two and you could get deals, if I'm being honest, because there's subcategories of lists that are inside of this data. And that's what's super cool about this. And let me give you an example of what those specific two data points are, because it's kind of a lot. Typically, guys, you can assume that bucket number two is going to be about anywhere between 10,000 to 15,000 records. All right, so write that down. This second bucket is about 10,000 to 15,000 records inside of your database. Number one is going to be vacant properties. It's not a reason that someone wants to sell, but it's a variable, right? Can we all agree? If the house was vacant, I think that it's a non-performing asset. I would just say that from like literal math here, that like if the property is vacant, it's not performing, it needs to sell ASAP. So there's a reason that it's going to sell. The second one here is called your tax roll, or tax delinquency is what you guys are very familiar with when it comes to these leads. Now, the thing about the tax roll, guys, when you get the tax leads, it's going to be about maybe 30 to 40,000 records of non-tax paying people that own real estate. And that's not just for houses, y'all. That is also for freaking mobile home parks, land, easements, random plots of land, backyards, sometimes even like just that corner lot that you know of that's just a little piece of grass that's owned by the city. A lot of times, guys, these properties, right, they make up about maybe $10,000 of the batch that you guys have inside of your data, okay? This is bucket number two. I call this blanket variables. Blanket variables. So again, we're dealing with properties that are vacant, properties that are tax delinquent. You can market to this list alone and you could get leads, right? You could get a lot of leads just marketing to blanket number two. I've been reaching out to tax delinquent properties for quite some time, and that is a pretty hefty list, y'all. Let me tell you something. That list typically consists of about, once I skip trace it, clean it, and get it loaded into my database, probably have about maybe 20,000, 40,000 records. Just depends on where you're at in the population. You know, mine being 2.3 million here in San Antonio, it's something to kind of take a look at. And then you have your third bucket. Your third bucket, we're going to narrow this down, okay? Your third bucket is called the niche bucket. Niche. Now, what is niche? I want to go over this, right? Like now, with niche, as cool as this is, these are the reasons that someone wants to sell a house, okay? So let's go over that. What are some of the reasons, if you guys are watching this, if y'all can help me out here, that someone really needs to sell a house? Not wants, but actually needs to sell the house. Who can tell me what that is in the comment section somewhere, y'all? I'll start. Number one, we got probate. Probate, we pull that from the county. That's a good one, right? Debt, not entirely, Primo, not entirely. I'm looking for more of a reason that someone would want to sell. Give me something crazy. Give me something crazy. I'm talking about, let's say, liens, right? Maybe liens, foreclosure. Great one. That's what we're talking about, Kendall, foreclosure. I love these ones, guys. I don't know if y'all are hitting foreclosures, but you need to be hitting them every single month. You can pull that literally from like anywhere, right? So you have probate, which is also kind of inherited property, Michael. So you're on point there. You know, the pain of divorce, yeah, that's a good one. Divorce leads, those are also there. What about liens? What about, let's say, judgments, right? Judgments are big ones. I think if somebody has like a $50,000 judgment against them, I think they'd be pretty damn interested in selling, right? So we got probate, we got foreclosure, we got divorces, we got liens, we got judgments, right? What else do we got? What else can we throw in here that is a reason that someone would actually want to sell? Code violation, that's another one. Code violation. These are like very small, niched out leads, right? And what about list pendants, guys? List pendant is an active real estate lawsuit. So we got list pendants, okay? Well, what about memorandums? A memorandum of contract. Y'all know what that's about. Most of these fly-by-night wholesalers slap memorandums on properties. I go after them because I remove them, right? And so that'll probably be a whole nother video where I talk about the litigation process to removing a memorandum of contract from a house that I buy. But I go after those. I'm either one, going to partner with you and we're going to take that deal down together because you were unable to perform, or two, I'm going to see you in court and you're going to get that lien released and you're going to pay me for all that court costs that I went through just to get that lien removed because you wouldn't want to cooperate with me. So we have memorandums, right? We have memos. We call them memos in the business. Now, again, guys, there is a plethora of niched out data. We could talk about federal IRS tax liens, right? That's another one that's different than property taxes. If I am a non-paying tax person and I decide that I'm not going to pay any of my taxes for my businesses that have made millions of dollars, well, guess what the IRS can do to my house? They can put a federal tax lien against it. Now I'm obligated to pay in the event that I ever have to sell this property. Federal tax liens can also literally lead to jail time, prison time even, because you're now evading taxes. So again, these are three different buckets. This is bucket one, bucket two, bucket three, and I'm just going to show you guys what we got so far. Now, these are all variables as to why someone would want to sell. This is the foundational piece of how you should go about looking at data that you have in your county, okay? Why is this important for everybody that's watching this? You need to be a collector. Like I'm talking a Pokemon freaking card collector. When I was a kid, don't ask me how, but I had like $100,000 worth of Pokemon cards, okay? I got the Charizard, first edition, holographic, the Blastoise, the Venusaur. I had a badass little binder that had everything in it. And I was freaking organized, my guys. I was organized. I kept them in a binder, sorted by evolution. Remember? Like, look at this. Kind of looks like a binder, right? Got three little pieces. It'd be Charmander right here, Charmeleon right here, Charizard right here. Sorry, forgive me for my lack of Pokemon knowledge. It's been quite some time since I played Pokemon. I do play the card game, by the way. It's still a great game. Highly recommend 1010. You guys download that on Apple Play Store or on Google Play Store. So that's for you guys if y'all want to start playing a real game. That's a real man's game. Anyways, as I bring this to like kind of fruition for y'all, and I start going over these different variables of data, each one has a purpose, but you got to collect them first. The idea is you want to own all of this data. Why? Why is this important? You see, most people that I meet that get into wholesaling, let me just flip around to the next page real quick because we're going to play a game together, right? And I've talked about this in previous calls before. So this is something that you guys might see again, right? But one of my favorite movies of all time is a movie called 21. It's about a gentleman who learns how to count cards. And he goes to class. He's going to either Harvard or Yale. I think it's Harvard, actually. And in this moment, in this classroom, he gets a chance to meet this gentleman who's the professor for this school. He's specifically teaching the science of relativity. On top of that, he's also teaching Isaac Newton's laws. He's also one of my favorite actors. If you guys ever seen American Beauty or the House of Cards season stuff on Netflix, it's a great show. Apparently, he got indicted on being like a sex offender or something like that, and hence his career has since gone to crap. But he had some great movies. Okay, we can all agree on that. Not saying that I support a sex offender, but I will say on this recorded call, dude can freaking act. Okay, and so there's this moment in this movie where he's essentially talking to the classroom, and he brings in this concept, right? And this is called variable change. This is Newton's law of variable change. Now we're talking science here. We're talking about theory that becomes proof backed by science. And what is science? Science means that I can repeat this process over and over and over again and actually prove that it works. Okay, I can literally do trial and error to prove that the science is true. And so variable change, he talks about this. He says behind this, there are three doors. He say door one, door two, door three. Behind one of these doors is a brand new Ferrari. Behind the other two doors, wherever they are, goats. Okay. And so then right off of the rip, if I'm here for all of you guys, just if you can just participate with me, if this is you and I tell you, I say, hey, guy watching this, which door would you like to choose? What are your chances of getting the right door so far if it was 100% divided by three? What is that? Somebody answer. It's 33.3%, right? And so then if that's the case, Michael, which door would you pick? Because there's really no telling, because right now it's kind of like split in between, right? So you could pick any door, and that would be the one that you would go after, right? All right, so Michael decides to pick door number one. So the door number one, before I open up this door, now is the variable change part happening. I say, well, look, Michael, see you just picked door number one. Let me tell you what, I lift up door number three for you. And what you see behind door number three is a goat. Now I walk up to you and I say, Mr. Michael, would you like to stay with your choice of number one, or would you like to the opportunity to switch your choice to door number two? What's more advantageous for you? What just happened? Braxton got the right idea. Braxton, you're a genius, my friend. It would be door number two. And why? Why? Because of variable change. What happened? It was 33.3% even. Michael picked door number one, right? And then before I told him what was behind that door, I stopped the show entirely. Variable change. And I say, look, I'm going to lift up door number three. Boom, a goat. Then I look at door number two and I look at door number one and I say, hey, Michael, would you like the opportunity to switch to the next door? Guys, just the fact that I even introduced that variable change actually increases Michael's decision-making skills by 33.3%. Now he has a 66.66% chance of getting the door right if he just decides to move to door number two. It is in his favor. And then you have to thank that gentleman for the additional 33.3%. That is called variable change. Now, why is that even relevant to what we're talking about in today's session? I go over that because, guys, anything can happen in any of these leads. That's why it's imperative that you own them. You own them, and then you put them in a place where the data gets updated accurately every single month. Now, guys, I want y'all to understand there's going to come a point in time in your business when you own all of this data. And when you do, now you have the freedom to play with variable change, because we can recreate opportunities, because records always stay the same, but the variables, they change. And I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. What we're going to do right now is I'm going to hop into a software that I like using. How many people that are here use a software called PropStream for their real estate businesses? Drop a one in the comments if that's you. If you guys are watching this for the first time, inside of the resource vault or in the comment section below, I'll drop a link for PropStream. You guys can use it 7 days for free. It also comes with $30 worth skip tracing credits and direct mail credits, so you guys can send out direct mail if you choose to. Inside of the description of this video, there will be a link for that. You guys can download that. It's a great software, right? And so this is PropStream. Let me show y'all something. This is my PropStream. I don't expect for you guys to own all the data in Texas right away, but I do. Okay. So like in majority of Texas, I own all of it. There's 1.6, I'd say it's 1.7 million records that are chilling inside of my prop stream. Now, why do I have this? Why is this even important? What is the variable here? I pay for this add-on that's called the List Automator. Okay. So I already own the data. I bought the data before. The data is there, right? So we look at these things, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is actually something that you can update in settings, right? And let me just show y'all. It's called the List Automator. Where to go? Add-on services, List Automator, the first ever list monitoring, automation, and marketing solution for your real estate business. A property's owner's situation can change quickly, altering their motivation to sell. Inevitably, properties in your list are sold, get listed on the MLS, resolve their foreclosure issues, pay off their liens, etc., which kind of significantly reduces your chances of acquisition. So the List Automator is PropStream's new data-driven automated list management feature, and it's the first of its kind. It utilizes all of the data inside of PropStream and automates your data every single day to increase the accuracy of your lists, save time, save money, and remove headaches on dollar amounts that you're spending. Guys, I want y'all to understand this. A lot of y'all think that just buying new data is the solution for your business. It is not. You should own it all. That's one. But buying more data does not solve anything. It's the variables, it's updating the data. So if you own it already, then the idea here is to update those records. Because again, what happens? Variable change. And so let's go back into this. I want to show y'all, but that's the list automator functionality that is available for your PropStream account. Now, if we go back to my properties here, which you'll notice I have a crap ton of lists that are automated, right? And so let's go ahead and just look at this one on high equity. This is the same list of high equity records that I dumped in there 7 years ago. Look at how many of these properties no longer have high equity. 199,000 have been removed. So these are leads that I'm no longer going to market to because they've either refinanced their loan or the property is no longer in a any type of standstill or any type of motivation. So there's that, right? They no longer have high equity. 6,000 properties now do. So there are variables here. 6,000 of the 260,000 leads have high equity now. 29 of them are vacant. Look at that. 10 of them are going through foreclosure. 108 of them have a second position lien on top of their mortgage. They have an active lien against their house, y'all. So why am I showing y'all this? I'm showing you guys this because all I did was create buckets of data, and then all I would essentially do is go after the ones that get updated every single month. This list automator thing gets updated on the 1st and on the 15th of every single month. So essentially, you take all of your data that you have and you park it into list automator, and list automator will now then create variables of different things that happen in your leads as time progresses. And I'm telling you guys this from literal freaking experience. I have gotten deals under contract on leads that I talked to 9, 10 years ago that have kept my information, kept my contact info because of variable change. They didn't want to sell to me 9 years ago, but now they want to sell to me today. Grandma fell and broke her back. Now there's motivation to sell. And so when I talk about list stacking, first it's about getting the data, and then we start creating what it is that we want for ourselves. And so with that being said, I hope everybody understands the absolute foundation of what it is that I'm trying to teach y'all in today's session. Number one, you have to own the data. There are 3 buckets of data that you guys need to pull. This is going to be your biggest investment here. This is probably going to cost you upwards to maybe $3,000 to $5,000 to buy all of it. But once you do that, you never have to buy data again. The only thing you have to pay for is skip tracing. Now, we're not going to skip trace all of this because if we did, let me tell you guys something. I mean, we just put this thing into like math real quick, right? Let's go over this real fast. We have fucking, what is that? How many records do we got? Let's see, calculator. If we were to, let's say 13 cents a record skip trace leads, and we'll say 10 cents on the low end, we'll say 10 cents, and then we multiply that by, let's say 700,000 leads in total, you would spend $70,000 skip tracing all of this data. Now, does this sound like there's an ROI? No, no, this is dumb. You should never do this, ever. If you're going to spend money, you spend money on these 3 different list stacks that I doubt anybody's looking for. And I'm about to give you guys a sauce on this video, okay? And so again, what are we going to do here? We're going to take what we got in these variables, and we're going to take pieces of them from each individual one, okay? And we're going to put them together to create a high probability lead that has 3 to 5 plus stacks that are reasons that someone actually wants to sell. There's a reason that someone actually wants to sell. So I'll start off with mine, okay? Now, I missed 2 on the blanket variables. I have to add 2 more, okay? Because this is important. Number 3 is seniors. Number 4 is low credit. Number 5 is low income. Forgot to add those. I'm so sorry, y'all. So let's go back and reiterate on bucket number 2. I gotta add more. What, seniors? Okay, how many of them are in your area right now? Why is that a variable? We're gonna go over that here in a minute. We have low credit, meaning that they have less than a 500 physical credit score. Then we have low income, meaning that they make less than $20,000 a year, right? And then we have what? I mean, there's about maybe 10 to 15,000 records per niche. Guys, these data can be anywhere. You can find them anywhere. Data fleet, you can get the low equity, low credit, low income. I'll give you guys a promo code so we can knock something on. It's called thedatafleet.com. That's where you can get a lot of that. But if you're going to get the vacancy list, only trusted source for vacancy that I trust out of anybody that I done business with, y'all, if I can be real honest here, the vacancy list for DealMachine is very damn accurate. I'd say it's like literally on par. Also, REI Sift has a direct USPS connection. They check vacancy on the 1st and 15th of every month. So if you could just take your leads and load them in REI Sift, you could find out which ones are vacant as of this month. The second one is your tax roll. That's your tax delinquency leads. You're going to get that straight from the tax assessor collector, right? So there's a lot of places to get these leads. Number three, bucket three is mainly county and open records request portals. Blanket number two, well, you can get them from websites, you can get them from your county as well, but typically revolves around the tax assessor collector and multitudes of different lead sources that are out there. Blanket number one, well, you can kind of pull that from literally anywhere. Everybody goes after high equity, right? And so high equity has variants too. We can do absentee, we can do all kinds of stuff. But these are my favorite. I'm going to start off with the top one. This is my favorite list to go after every single freaking time. Okay? Number one, the stack is this: senior, tax delinquency, disabled, and then the last one is code violation. This is without a doubt the most high performing list that I have ever marketed to in my entire career. Why? Number one, over the age of 65 in Texas. Let me go over this real quick. For all of my people that are watching this, you might be from Texas, you might be from elsewhere. The laws change from state to state, so make sure you check with your local county. Make sure you understand what these things look like. The seniority, what does that mean? And you see in Texas, seniors can't get their properties taken away from them for non-tax payments. Y'all hear me? They can't get their property foreclosed on if they are over 65. Most of them just let that thing ride. They'll go 5, 10 years without paying for their taxes. Now, what happens to someone's health when they're over the age of 65? It deteriorates, right? So then I pair it with tax delinquency. Tax delinquency, meaning that they're behind on taxes and they're a senior owner. Guys, you can find this data within the list itself. If you pull the tax delinquency list, a lot of times there's a like an exemption that's there that's called a senior exemption. They go downtown and they file for seniority so they can get that tax break every single year. Again, it doesn't mean that those taxes can't be paid because they still need to. It just means that they can let it fly. And so a lot of times when somebody gets behind on taxes, I'm looking at this variable here: disabled, disability. That means that that person is disabled and he's unable to pay his taxes because of some debilitating health issue. This is a reason that someone wants to sell. And then just icing on the cake there. Tell me you're not keeping up with your property without telling me you're not keeping up with your property, or that, or you're dead and the house is vacant. And so then I can go in and find all those deals that are like pre-probate, affidavits of heirship, lingering estates, all of those things, abandoned real estate, houses that are just sitting there. I go after this list specifically because this is where my niche lies. Now, as far as curative title work, that's probably going to be something I introduce to y'all on another video. But lo and behold, this is a stack that I highly doubt anybody goes after. I'm giving y'all the sauce right now. That is the best one. Second to best, this one's my favorite. I put these three up there because they're so damn good, okay? So we're going to go over this together. First one's going to be absentee, off market, vacant, tired landlord. That is stack number two. Absentee, off market, vacant property, tired landlord. You can build this one on DealMachine and you will get deals. Man, my guy Javrick, this is what he goes after. He asked me for this specific build. He told me to build something for him that had at least a minimum of 10,000 leads to keep his VA fed. And so we did. This was the one I built on DealMachine. So it doesn't require any of these fancy portals yet, but this one can be made on DealMachine. And this one you can go after today. Okay. Absentee owned, off market properties, houses that are vacant. The variable here is that they're a tired landlord, which typically, guys, with tired landlord means that they're over the age of 65 and they own rental property that is vacant. Great list right here, because two things can happen. And this is why I like this list a lot. Number one, you can find someone who wants to sell a house, or two, they want to sell a portfolio. And I'll say there's a third thing that can happen. You can turn them into a cash buyer for your business because they're already a tired landlord. You guys get what I'm saying? So again, absentee, off-market, vacant, tired landlord, one of the best lists that you can go after. You'll probably take 500,000 records in your market and consolidate them to about 2 to 3,000. It'll be a good 2 weeks of calling this list. When you do this one, you're going to find multiple opportunities. That's just a given, no matter what. Sometimes you might find somebody who just wants to wash their hands with this whole process. Okay. The third one. Now, the third one is tricky. Okay. The third one is tricky, but this one's also my favorite that I don't think that a lot of people go after. And I want to be real transparent with you guys. All right. So like this one here is a little bit different and it requires more or less knowledge in creative finance and subject to. This is called a death to, and I'm going to go over exactly what that is at the end of this call. This is a surprise. So for everybody that's here, I wasn't expecting to teach this, but I'll teach this today. So this is it. Bought the house, first one, first thing that you put, bought house within 3 years. It's a brand new property. That's one. Two, active probate. Three, pre-foreclosure. Now, if you have a homie that works in the bank, you can add this to the top. Rejected, refi, meaning that they try to get themselves out of that situation and they were unable to. So again, guys, where we're at economically, and I hate to say this because it's truth, but if I ever speak on anything, it's truth. Why is this list so important? This third one here. This is crazy work, what I'm teaching you guys right now. Again, bought house within the last 3 years. Nobody expects to die. They bought the house within the last 3 years. Guys, what does it take for somebody to afford a house in 2025? What do we call that? A two-person household income, right? And so if I buy a house and me and my spouse are both paying for it 50-50, because that's just the way it is. It's kind of gone this day and age where a man makes enough money to take care of everything. And for you guys that do, kudos. Love y'all so much. Thank y'all for being providers and stepping up to the plate and doing what you can for your family. But that's actually not the case. About 80% of males rely on their wives' income to pay for all of their bills. That's just the way it is now. And so, women are stepping up. So then they bought a house in the last 3 years, and then hubby or wife dies. Now the property's stuck in probate, and they're going into foreclosure, or they tried to refinance the loan to get themselves out of the foreclosure process. This strategy that you would use for this stack that I'm positive that nobody ever goes after, y'all. This strategy is called a death to. Now, death to, what is a death to? Death to is when you combine two strategies: finalizing an affidavit of heirship, putting next of kin in the title, and then buying it subject to the existing mortgage from the heirs that are inheriting the asset. That, my friends, is a death to. This is something that nobody really goes after. And yep, I got to give credit where credit's due. Uncle Charles talked about this one time before, and this has been since a strategy that I utilize in my business. And currently, I have 4 properties under contract that are familiar with the situation where I'm having to perform probate issues right now on sub 2 deals. A couple of them I'm wholesaling, a couple of them I'm keeping. And it's a really cool process. And so, guys, this is the best 3 lists that you can go after in your business. For y'all that are watching, go on ahead and just take a quick picture of that. Snap the photo, screenshot, do whatever you can. This is going to be a replay for y'all. This is advanced level cheat code stuff. And so if you guys got value from today's session, you want to get on the other side, you want to learn how you can implement more of these different types of strategies, make sure that y'all hit the link in the description below. These are my 3 best lists that any of you guys can go after for your real estate business. And I'm also giving y'all the map on how you can create the foundation of how you should be warehousing data in your business. It's not about buying more data. It's about making sure that you are factoring in variable change, right? Door number 1, door number 2, door number 3. Well, let me tell you guys what, you're the GOAT regardless, but there's a Ferrari on the other side of that door when you're willing to accept variable change as a part of your real estate company, all right? So I will see you guys on the next one. Everybody that's still in here, y'all can stay. Call's not over for y'all, but it's over for the recording, okay? So again, link in the description down below. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys on the next one.